Yo, what's good? It's Skano. So, Ye identifies as a Nazi. He's on that again. I'm not gonna jump on here and run with the usual narratives and roast dude and woo woo. People think that and he does not. You know, Now bipolarism is sort of like autism. No one person is the same. You know, I'm saying as far as bipolarism. I don't think he does this shit because of his personality disorders alone. That play into it. I really think that it's a method to his madness. Now, why would he even identify as, you know, how could a black man identify with Nazism in any context, you would say? But see, that's, the personality disorder aspect of it. But I think, like I said, there is a method to his madness. Ultimately, do you know what the most powerful asset as a black person in this country, in this world, the most powerful asset that you can obtain is actually, at least in my belief, is the ability to transcend race. And I think one of my most clear examples of that was Sidney Poitier. There are certain, Denzel also to some degree. You could say MLK. When you have the ability in this country, in this world, actually, to not be viewed as black, not to be viewed in a racial context at all, that is very powerful. Because just by virtue of prejudice, a lot of people's perspective on life, on things in general, life in general, regardless of what, the discussion is kind of skewed, muddled, you know, by race. And I don't care what people say. Most people are prejudiced. Now, that don't mean you're racist, but what I'm saying is we do have these preconceived, ideologies regarding race, and it's just human nature. Most of us. When you can transcend that as a black person in this country, that is, like I said, in my eyes, that is the most powerful asset you can obtain, you know. And I think it goes without saying, why that would be, if you're black, that is, or a minority, however you want to look at it. But so I don't think, to some degree, I honestly feel like Kanye is I don't want to say a puppet. I would say a mouthpiece for white elitists. I don't think Kanye views himself in the context of race. I really don't. And I'm not saying that he is oblivious to, based on his past artistic creation, you know, he is very in tune with his blackness. There's no question about that. But I don't think he views himself in a racial context. I think Kanye and that kind of plays into his personality. And this is just my own personal perspective. His personality, if you want to call it a disorder, you know, quirks, whatever, the egocentricity and megalomania, whatever you want to call it. But I really think Kanye feel like he's above race at this point. But he still understands that race is a useful utensil, especially in this country. So I really think that, how do you think that this dude went from nothing to a billionaire to, now I wouldn't say broke because he wasn't nowhere near broke, but personal finances decimated, and now back at billionaire status again. How do you think that was able to happen throughout all the controversy, throughout all the missteps? And it's not like this is the first time he's made mention of this Nazism shit that he's on. I really believe Kanye is a mouthpiece for white elitists. He has a, you can't cancel him. He can't, I don't believe he could be canceled. And this is obvious. It's obvious, Now he's saying if X, you know, if he's taken off that forum, removed, banned, whatever, just come to, his own website. At this point, dude is his own, he's like his own planet. You know what I'm saying? He's on his own planet. That's obvious. I really believe, like I said, there is a method to the madness, and I believe he's striving, like I said, to obliterate any identity as far as his identity, any to be, viewed in any racial context. And I believe he's saying these things because he knows that it appeals to a certain demographic, like I said, which is white elitist. And so in essence, you could say he's a puppet, but nobody's forcing him to do this shit. There is some genius to this man. As crazy as he may come across, Kanye, I do believe, it's like autistic people who are also, like that have zero social skills but are like geniuses, on another level, intellectually, they're like in their own stratosphere, IQ wise, but have zero, emotional intelligence, or, you understand what I'm saying? So, all that to say, like I said, if you can transcend race, at that point, there is nothing stopping you. I'm saying as a black person in this country, there is nothing to stop you because that means you have been embraced. Not just, I'm saying, on a social level, socially, you have been embraced by the entirety, of the world. You understand in the context of regardless of race, nationality, religion, woo woo, And that's difficult to obtain, as a black person. Ultimately, I think that's his goal. People think it's not about money with this dude so much, I believe. I really think this dude, I think he really aspires to be viewed in a godlike, status. I think he has a God complex, but that's just my own personal assessment. Briefly, right quick, this whole phenomenon, not phenomenon, but the cultural trend, epidemic, however you want to view it, of multiple baby mamas, particularly in the black community. As always, I'm typically speaking in the context of the black community, but it applies to any particular race. But that's dead now. Obviously, I'm saying I'm speaking of in the context of, if you want to just say average, the average dude, regular dudes. And I'm speaking from personal, I do have two baby mamas, if you want to call them baby mamas. But that is dead, man. I think there was a time period, I think men are starting to come around. There was a time period, we're, from a cultural standpoint, I don't know. Black men did kind of feed into this, as if that make you more virile, somehow you are, expanding your legacy, expanding your bloodline. And I guess in a sense, you could say you are expanding your bloodline, if you want to look at it in those terms. Having multiple baby mamas was, it sounded immature, but it was like a cool thing. There were some benefits, of course, for certain men, they just flip flop around it, they just go, they fall out with this baby mama, they end with the next one or the other one, you know what I'm saying? And it's like a alley cat who make his rounds, you know what I'm saying? So, but real shit, in today's economy and moving forward, young men, and like I was saying before, guard your seed, all it takes is procreating with just one person who is the wrong person. It could screw your life up. But procreating with multiple women, just from a practical economic standpoint, is just, listen, like I said, in today's economy, and to each their own, I'm not being judgmental, like I said, speaking from personal experience, it can be highly stressful, and I think that goes without saying. It could get complicated, not just from, the standpoint of interacting with multiple women and, trying to, like I said, spread yourself out, because somebody gonna get shorted. Whether I'm saying amongst those kids, typically, somebody gonna end up getting the short end of the deal, in some aspect, emotionally, financially, sometimes all across the board. But as a man in today's economy, as a young man, like I said, to each their own, I just don't think it's very prudent. I don't think it's very smart. You will never be able to get ahead if you have multiple, and I know niggas that have literally double digits as far as baby mamas. And when I bullshit you not, they got a kid in every section of the city of various age ranges that stay in their pocket, that keep them stressed out. And you know what I'm saying? Even if there's not a situation where you dealing with, extra, high maintenance type of, it's just naturally, it could be exhausting. When you're talking about just two baby mamas, but not just exhausting mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, but I'm talking about financially. So, as a young man, you're going to run across different women, and this goes for women too, but I'm speaking from a man's perspective right now. You want to protect your seed, man. Once you spread your seed out now niggas think you actually, like I said, you're deepening your bloodline. But if you want to look at it, that what you're really doing is spreading yourself out far too thin financially. Like I said, to each their own. And if you have the financial means to support that type of lifestyle, and you know what I'm saying, woo-woo, to each their own. But for the average dude, and it don't take much. I don't think niggas go out planning. Some of y'all probably do. Some niggas probably actually thinking this. But I think for the most part, it just happens as, you in and out of different relationships, from one relationship to the next. And before you know it, you done been in 3-4 different relationships, and you get what I'm saying, how you got to guard your seed. And that's why I say from the standpoint of all this sleeping around, linking up to, maybe in the 60s and 70s you could get this shit off, and I'm saying there was not so much of a financial windfall, or however you want to free fall. But at this stage, man, with child support laws and just the economy being what it is, man, you can get yourself caught up in a situation where, bruh, you working just to pay child support. And, you know, it could drain not just your finances, but it could drain your energy, man, your spirit. It could, I know some guys out here that, you know, they going through it, man. They going through it, and they don't see no way out of it. And that's why, self-discipline, self-discipline is the key, but we live and learn, right? 216 Scano, you already know.